Next question we got here is, how do we explain to atheists that the Israel-Palestine conflict is not religion bad and that ending religion won't stop it? Is that
I
is
mean,
that
uh, because it's more about like land displacement than anything else. Like imagine if 700,000 people just had to move out of Florida tomorrow and weren't allowed to come back, and had been and now other people were living on their lands,
yeah.
and
There's
now they all have to live in Georgia, and they want to come back to Florida, like, and won't let them. And in the cause of that, in that minor conflict, people die, escalating the conflict.
I mean, there are a lot of, like, there is an attempt to try and say that this is a religious conflict, but that is mostly a misdirection campaign. Like, it, first of all, there's this, because it's trying to say that this is like this ancient battle between Muslims and Jews, which is like, okay, if you do that, like, it's not that. Like, Palestinians aren't all Muslims, first of all, but also there are Muslim Christians and or there are, sorry, not they're not Muslim Christians. There are Palestinian Christians and Palestinian Jews and Arab Jews and Arab Christians, and, like, the Middle East is not a monolith, but also it has, like, this sort of racial, like, racist system that happens in Israel doesn't just extend to Palestinians. Like, there is, if you talk about, like, the experiences of Ethiopian Jews and their experiences going to Israel, they also can have quite a few stories to tell you. Or Arabic speaking Jews, or any other, like, it is more, like, every metric you look at, it's like saying it's more of a thing about race and settler colonialism than it is religion.
Yeah.
The other thing to mention too is that it's sort of like how people will say that the issue, and this is how it was described to me as a kid, and it's like, in some ways it's you're getting the basics right, but it's also so wrong. Like, about how, if you want to compare it, if you want to, like, help out your friend, you could compare it to other types of conflict that are also billed as religious struggles but are not actually religious struggles. Good ones to think of are the 30 Years' War, which was billed as a religious war but had a lot more going on than just Protestants and Catholics. It was more of a German civil war in a lot of ways.
German Civil War, where Sweden just decided to, like, come in and take as much as they could while it was going on.
Getting while the getting's good.
We have so much freaking war loot from that war, by the way. Like, I live in a town with, like, one of those, like, Royal Archive buildings, and we have so much German shit that we're never gonna get back.
Yeah, it's fine. What's it called? Germans did enough looting. What's it called? The second. Okay, they will get their stuff if they can. If they take the stolen Jewish stuff out of the Swiss banks and return them to the families that they had, they can have all the sweet.
Yeah.
They can have all the 30 Years' War stuff back they want.
Exactly.
The other one too is, like, how people, when I was a kid, would say to me that, like, North Ireland is a religious thing, when, like, everybody knows that, like, that, like, the fight between North Ireland and, like, or, like, Ireland and the UK over North Ireland isn't because they have doctrinal differences about, like, Catholicism versus Protestantism, but but because religions are more, if anything, it really makes my case that I've been making a lot on these streams, that religion is more than just a set of beliefs that you dogmatically follow, and if you can be talked out of them, then it completely gets solved. Like, religion is an identity. It's about ethnicity and race and all sorts of, and culture and all sorts of stuff, just, like, really baked together that you can't really separate out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it was an amazing answer. Especially the North Ireland example, I think it's, like, will really hit for a lot of people. Even, like, you would have to contextualize that one as well. But once you can do that, I think it's easier to sort of map that onto.
And Gad did point out that in kind of these war zone type situations, you do create, because one of the things that kind of comes out of conflict zones is you do create factions of religious fundamentalism. And the settler colonization of Palestine by Israel has resulted in an exacerbation of religious fundamentalists on both sides of the conflict. One with a little bit of help from America. Both of them with a little bit of help from America, because Hamas is was sort of a right, like kind of like a right-wing religious fundamentalist group that was given a little bit of spice from America in order to outset the more socialist PLO. But that's a different story.